Welcome everybody to the X Factor podcast. Today, you already know we have a great episode set for everyone that likes professional wrestling, NXT, anything professional wrestling wise. We are going to talk about here today. We got NXT review in the Twitter. You already know X Factor MG 5654. If you didn't know, you do now. I'm going to be doing some Q&As. I'm going to put them on my Twitter, XFactorMG5654. Follow me. And put me wrestling questions down that I can answer for the podcast to talk more about, to get this podcast more than just reviews with. Because there's some people that want to know about some things. There's some people that don't want to know about some things. It could be any era of wrestling. It could be any era of anything wrestling. And then, NFL talk. If you want to put some NFL talk in there, boom. If you're an NFL fan, put some Q&As in there for NFL. You know, what team I think is going to do this, or what player, etc. Anything that in that aspect. NBA, perhaps, that too. You can put NBA in there. You can put anything in that aspect. Be respectful, live questions, anything you want. I'll be putting that in my Twitter, or you can just go on my comment section and comment what you want me to talk about, etc. All that type of stuff. Because I'm really doing this for the fans. I'm really just... The few fans I got out there are really what are going to help this channel grow more and more and more. I'm going to do a thing where I'm not going to shave my head or shave my face until I probably hit 1,000 subscribers. That is the goal now. We're not going to go for 100. We're not going for 500. We're going for 1,000. I will not shave until the 1,000th subscriber, and then I'll go higher from then. So we're going to get right into it here. NXT Gold Rush was last night. We got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to talk about. You guys want to know what I want to talk about? We're going to talk about it. Wesley, Tyler Bate, with Mustafa Ali as the special guest referee. In my opinion, the first match of the night, that match was an absolute banger. I felt that they got a lot of stuff in there that, you know, they put everything out on that mat last night. I feel that they could really show why they're some of the best NXT stars around. Wesley, in my opinion, in the past year has upgraded massively since his tag partner got released last year. Tyler Bate, he's just showing why he's one of the best young professional wrestlers in the business today. I feel like, you know, if he was anywhere else, he wouldn't be what he's doing now. He's only 26. He's been in the NXT area for the last couple of years now. I thought the match was good. I am a little conflicted of what they're doing with Mustafa Ali there. I feel like we might be potentially getting a heel turn out of that. And I don't know how I feel about a heel turn. I don't know if it's a heel turn or if it's just, you know, competition stuff, but that whole match, Mustafa Ali was just... He made it seem like it was supposed to be like unfair for some aspects. Up until Wesley almost got counted out, and then, you know, Mustafa hyped them both up, and boom, they went right at it. And then the finish was the cardiac kick to Tyler Bate, which Vic Joseph said maybe he was trying to get Mustafa Ali there. Wesley retained, then two both confused after the match. Mustafa, for some reason, is happy. I don't know what they're trying to do there. But to me, it's an interesting little thing that's going right there that potentially could be something big for Mustafa Ali. Not the rest of them, but Mustafa Ali could be big. Because if he gets a heel turn in NXT, man, that would be... Because that's what I feel like every time he's trying to do something like this. It's trying to manipulate one of these guys into turning each other so he can get the title. And if that is the case... I'm going to come up here and tell you I was right. But a heel turn Mustafa Ali, I don't know how I'd feel about that. He's getting over perfectly fine in NXT. I feel like a heel turn could either, well, there's only two options. It could either really help him, or it could really screw him out of a spot in NXT. So that's really what I really gotta think about that, because it's like, Wesley, he's having the best North American title reigns of all time. Tyler Bate, I think he needs to get a singles title run in at some point. I don't know if it's gonna be the North American or the NXT title. He could do both, but they need to get him up on that main roster right now as a 26-year-old. As a main roster right now, definitely needs that kind of star power like Tyler Bate. And have that rivalry with Wesley and Mustafa. And boom, you cook with that for a little bit. So I thought that was some pretty good stuff there. Duke Hudson had brought all the Chase U students out there for Thea Hale. Pep rally for her title match next week against Tiffany Stratton. And Thea Hale, man, she's only 19 years old. And she's getting pushed like this. She's getting over like this at 19. And I get a lot of women superstars start out young, 19, 20. But it's just weird to think about that now, because how much women superstars actually go into their mid-30s and not retire like we used to see. Like, we used to see, like, Trish and Lita, they would retire at, Trish is 47 now, 37. She was almost 30 at that point. Lita, 30s, 40s when she hit her mark, or before 30. Like, a lot of women superstars retired before the age of 30. And now we're seeing women superstars go all the way up to past 40, like Asuka, Shayna, and Tamina right now. And then you got some superstars like Becky and Charlotte, who are 36, 37, 35, around that age, doing good right now. So Thea Hale could have a big future ahead of herself. So can have the women roster right now in NXT, because I feel like all of them, and I've said this before, this could be the big turning point in the women's division. This could be the next women's evolution, but potentially could be better. And speaking of this new generation of NXT, I'll get into that here in a little bit with Baron Corbin and Carmella Hayes segment, because I got something I gotta cook up there. But they had a pep rally for her, hyping her up. Gulak and Charlie Dempsey were there. I honestly thought they were going to shut her down and be like, you still got a lot more training to do. But she put Tiffany Stratton in a Kimura lock and made her tap. So maybe she's potentially ready. I don't think she's going to win next week, though. It's going to be like false hope at the end. So Tiffany Stratton, I think she's one of the best women wrestlers right now in NXT. Thea Hale, one of the most upcoming superstars right now in NXT. There's something cooking with Thea Hale. She is really becoming one of them massive stars. And if she can get over like this with Chase U, imagine her with like Alpha Academy. And her, Chad Gable, and Otis would cook fire. And then put Maxine Dupree with Pretty Deadly. Boom. Straight up facts. Or put Tiffany Stratton with Pretty Deadly. That could be something. So, we got a triple threat tag match. Malik Blade, Edris Enofe, Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, and Tank Ledger and Hank Walker. And all I gotta say is Tank Ledger and Hank Walker are kind of like those kind of co-workers you want to go out after a 9 to 5 and drink a beer with. That's what I instantly thought about them too when they first came out. I'm like, those are the kind of co-workers you want to go to after you got done working your 9 to 5 and have a beer. They just give me that type of vibe, and for some reason I like it. And their triple threat tag match I thought was amazing. Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, in my opinion, they're like the Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn. I keep thinking the Gun Club, but that's the Ass Boys. That's can't remember their tag team name at the moment, but Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen remind me of Billy and Bart Gunn. They just give me that vibe, and for some reason I'm not a fan of Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. just not really. And then Malik Blade and Endos Enofe have really shown me the last 2 weeks why people should keep an eye out on them. If I get I'm gonna start adding every week who should people keep an eye on in wrestling. Them two might be up for the case for awards next week because they are becoming an amazing tag team. I did not even think of them as like a big tag team. I don't think many people did up until this point. And they are so talented. Like they're the type of tag team that could do good in tag division and out in a singles run. I feel like Malik Blade and Enofe can really do some good things outside of tag work. But they did beat Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Tank Ledger, and Hank Walker. So they now get to face Gallus next week, which is going to be an absolute banger. We got a tag match, or we got a backstage segment after that, pretty much. Angel Garza, Humberto, saying if they were in the match, they would have won, and they wouldn't be, Gallus would not be tag champions after that. I am hyped that Angel Garza and Humberto are there because with how Triple H has been booking things in NXT right now and how the creative team in NXT is doing, they're going to be up for some good awards, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of the guys in that creative team, they could bring up to help with their main roster creative team. And what I mean is like Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels, which I'm pretty sure who run the two creative spots. If they get there up in the main roster, that'd be some good stuff right there. And we already know what Triple H and Shawn Michaels could do by themselves in NXT. Just imagine what they do with the main roster, with the amount of talent that's on the main roster. And in my opinion, Shawn Michaels is he really has a good eye for a lot of people. Like, the guys that they have brought in so far have gotten over Mustafa Ali, Baron Corbin, Humberto, and Angel Garza, even though it's only been 2 weeks. Dana Brooke was getting there up until tonight, and we got I got to talk about that here in a second. And, those guys that they've brought in, like, imagine if they brought Elias into NXT, because Elias, we haven't seen him in a while. If they could bring Elias into NXT and he gets this kind of type of reaction, or Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander, I thought of a good situation for Shelton Benjamin. The gold standard and the gold brand. It just fits the whole mold right there. But Cora Jade had a match with Dana Brooke. In my opinion, it was a match. It was good, but right before commercial break, Dana Brooke had an knee injury. I don't know if that was real or not. She came out in a stretcher coming out of the break. She got off the stretcher, had the match, but then due to referee stoppage, Cora Jade won. The crowd, the fact that they were cheering her and telling her to tap, I don't know if that's just tap, get over with it, or tap, you're really injured, you need to stop type of chant. If they were actually cheering and telling her to tap just to get over with her, that's honestly the most awful thing you can really think about. Cora Jade, she got cheers and she's a heel, which is something you don't really want to see. And in my opinion, Dana Brooke is not even that bad. I know Twitter and everyone else wants to make it seem like that she's just that bad. She had her run in the start of her main roster career with Charlotte. She got over, after she turned on Charlotte and everything. But then after that, it's just they haven't done nothing. And hopefully that injury was a match injury type. Hopefully she gets better. If it's a real injury, prayers out to her. But in the match, I thought it was and if that was a storyline injury, I feel like she sold that injury really well. So Cora Jade ended up with the win. It was an match in my opinion. So Baron Corbin, Carmelo Hayes had their last stare down before their match next week for the NXT Men's Championship. I almost said NXT Women's Championship. The NXT Championship. And in low-key, Baron Corbin cooked. Only problem is, it's going to get overshadowed with Carmelo Hayes cooking that man fried down the middle. The promo was amazing on both aspects. That might have been Corbin's best promo as a superstar right now. And the last line saying he was going to take the title to his $1 million house, to his smoking hot wife, and that line, the whole line between that, if you watched it, you knew. I felt that was some cold shit right at the end. I feel this Baron, like, I've always wanted Lone Wolf Baron Corbin to come back, but this kind of Baron Corbin, if they can, they need to make it into like a JBL thing, which they tried. It didn't work on the main roster. If they can do that in NXT, it can potentially get better. And JBL, he went through so many gimmick changes before becoming the JBL we know now. It could work with Baron Corbin. He went from, just the regular Baron Corbin to Lone Wolf Baron Corbin, which I feel like was his best gimmick at that point. Constable Corbin, which is awful. The King Corbin didn't get over. Happy Bum-ass Corbin got over, massive, but then he became Happy Corbin, which was in crowds' eyes were eh. And then now this Baron Corbin. I feel like this Baron Corbin, if they do something, Shawn Michaels does something right, he can potentially get up to the old Baron Corbin that we've seen years ago. I just feel like when you give someone so many different gimmick changes, it ruins them, mentally at least, which it sucks. But I know Baron Corbin and Carmelo Hayes are going to have a banger match next week. So, Lash Legend, Shakira Jackson versus Valentina Forjois and Luzian Leon. Right before the main event, not a good match, in my opinion. I understand why they're getting rid of the NXT tag titles, women's tag titles. In my opinion, they need to get mid-card titles, like I said before. I don't even know how many times I gotta explain it. Mid-card titles. That's what I know it would cause problems, but that would help so many issues with so many different superstars that can't go for a title. Or put the ones that are not in that title contention in some rivalry to help them with, kind of like how they did Lila Valkyria with Cora Jade for the longest time. But then we get to our main event here: Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, banger match. They legit put the house down like 5 seconds in. They already went in the commercial, so good thing they had the side by side camera cut there. Braun Breaker, my biggest take, I think Braun Breaker got the best spear in wrestling right now. Nobody can change my mind. Braun Breaker is also ready. And I don't know what they do with Braun Breaker from this point, unless they're going to have this thing with Ilya Dragunov later on down the road. They need to put the trigger down and say, hey, we need to take Braun Breaker up to the main roster. Like, let's make this into a good thing. And boom. I get, I get Vince is up there. He could, fuck some things up. But at the end of the day, a lot of things Triple H has a handle of. And I don't think Triple H would ruin a Braun Breaker like they've seen in NXT. Vince, in my opinion, just needs to go the fuck away. In my opinion. That man just needs to fucking just... If you really think about it, he slowly tried ruining the company when he came back and everything, and then everyone freaking out, and then sold the company, which he could have just had Triple H and Stephanie take over and run the stuff like people have been saying for years now, but they just, sold it to an Endeavor, which, we haven't heard about anything about them since they sold it to him, so a lot of stuff goes through Vince, but I guess, I don't know. But Seth Rollins' Braun Breaker was a great match. I feel that one thing I do know is that I hope they don't have any more world title matches on NXT. Besides, there's only a few times where that could be allowed, and that, like, right there could be allowed because how dominant Braun Breaker is. Like, I don't think there's no one else in the NXT roster right now that deserves that type of shot on NXT. Not even Carmelo Hayes, in my opinion. Braun Breaker is the best guy in NXT. And it's not the champion ain't even the best guy on the roster right now. Braun Breaker is legit, is what Carmelo calls himself. He's him. And now that he's turned heel, he could be the most dangerous in NXT. But Braun Breaker, like I said, he's just becoming a monster. Seth Rollins, amazing as always. After the match, Finn Balor attacked Seth, and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams came to his aid and pretty much helped that. So that's all I got for you guys today. You all stay blessed. NXT, I thought, was a great episode. I feel that Shawn Michaels should really be up there for Book of the Year. And one thing, NXT is like one of the best shows right now in wrestling. And I will say that, and I'll keep saying that every single week until someone can prove me that another show's better. But y'all stay blessed. Have a good day. Y'all.